Hello, my name is Caitlin Blackburn, and today I'm going to do my presentation on social media's role in society, the uprising of a new generation. So with the rise of social media, we also saw the rise in use of technology within younger generations as well as older generations, but social media has mainly affected those of the younger generation. So just to start off, there is no doubt that social media has become a large part of our everyday life. From the news to cute pictures of your family, you can keep up to date with everything and everyone you need to know. Nowadays, you look to social media to keep you up on current events, both personal and global. So not only do you keep up with your friends and your family, but you can also keep up with something that happened 3 minutes ago across the world. It happens just like that with the snap of a finger, the click of a button. So I chose a broader topic so that we could take a closer look at the true breakdown of social media and how it affects such different yet wildly important parts of our lives. So the three parts that we're going to talk about today are how social media affects your personal relationships, how social media affects the news and how it's presented to us, and how social media affects social movements and their ability to gain strength. So first we're going to start off with social media's effect on personal relationships. So this is just a tweet by a man named Jason Ortiz. Social media doesn't care about your relationship. You're being mocked and used as a joke when you vent. If you don't care, that's cool, but talk to your partner before you run to Facebook. Basically, he's saying that you are going to be made fun of when you take your relationship and you air it out on Facebook, and that is something that we have seen with the rise of social media is revenge through our profiles online. So instead of talking it out with your partner or your family or your friend, a lot of people tend to seek that outlet on Facebook, and this can very harshly affect your personal relationship. Now, social media can also have many positive effects on a relationship. Don't get me wrong, it is not all negative, but social media allows you to connect with friends and family that live far away, but it does take away from face-to-face time with friends and family that are live in the same house as you or live down the street. It affected our ability to have meaningful conversation with our loved ones. We especially see this in younger teens, and we see the deficit in their ability to express their feelings through their words rather than texting them. So many conversations that are had nowadays in younger generations is through their phone, through their technology, through that new messaging app, through Snapchat. We are seeing a downward spiral in teens' ability to make meaningful connections face to face, which in the long run hurts them when they get a job or when they're going to school. So we also see that it does have the positive relationship, as we talked about, between friends and family that live far away, which is a awesome experience. I'm able to talk to my cousins that live in Arizona while I'm in North Carolina with the touch of a button, and that's just one of the many positive effects of social media. So next we're going to talk about social media's effect on the news. So now that we talked about the effect on relationship, let's take a look at how it's changed news outlets. So it's no longer the cut and dry physical newspaper. While that is still used sometimes, it's a very large decline as a direct correlation of the rise of social media. So with social media came this inability to wait. It has taken away our patience. And in this tweet right here, it says, to be honest, who actually gets a newspaper anymore? Their sales are in terminal decline, with many, like the Scotsman, facing bankruptcy. So ignore the last half of that. He's talking about a specific newspaper. But what I want you to really focus on is the top part where he says that they are in terminal decline. Newspapers rarely do print anymore. That's the same with magazines. While we still see it, it is still prevalent in our society. It is not the main outlet anymore. So it talks about the decline in newspaper sales. And he says, to be honest, who gets a newspaper anymore? And that is so true. I do not remember the last time I bought a newspaper, but I do remember the last time I clicked onto Facebook and saw the latest event or the latest news article that popped up. And this is because of the industry's ability to adapt to the new things that are coming out. So basically we saw 50% of newspaper spending was spent on staffing. So staffing was the first cut to go when we saw this decline. But they've learned to roll with the punches, and they have adapted the newspaper business, and this is why we are seeing a lot of online editions popping up. So in the article above, it says, faced with such challenges, newspapers have no choice but to adapt. Readers demand instant access to news, so newspapers have created online editions. So this is where social media and newspapers were able to kind of mesh and come together and make things work for the greater good. So this is why we see posts shared on Facebook from online news sources rather than seeing an uploaded picture of a black and white printed article. So them coming together allows for ultimate convenience where important news is concerned. So lastly, we're going to talk about social media and social movements. So I wanted to show a little bit of this video right here, just the first part.
The day after the inauguration of President Donald Trump, an estimated 3.5 million people in cities around the country and the world took part in the Women's March, protesting the Trump agenda in what may have been the largest collective protest in American history. The march started with a single Facebook post and grew from there.
So I wanted to show you this, not to talk about the politics behind the protest, but to show what drove this protest to become so big. This is one of the largest modern day protests that we have seen in a very long time, and it started with one Facebook post, one Facebook event, and one person. So we are seeing these major social movements come together, and the thing that catches your eye the most is that they are starting online. The major fuel for 99% of all modern social movements is social media and the access to a network of millions of people that you connect through shares, comments, and likes. In the video, you can kind of see, and what I mainly wanted you to notice is that this one Facebook post led to so much more, and I think this is where social media has really impacted our society, not only politically, but we also see it driving social movements. We do see political protests like the one seen here, but we're also seeing things like Giving Tuesday being driven, which is a hashtag. So basically saying every Tuesday you donate something. So it says it's Giving Tuesday, a global movement that celebrates and supports giving and philanthropy. So this was on Google Plus. It's a post I found. And just through this simple hashtag, something that has caught on and you often see in social media is small movements like this that pick up and have the ability to change and make a difference through social media. This is highlighting just one of the amazing positive effects that we see come from the rise of these platforms, which to me is amazing. So with social media, you have to take the positive and the negative, and together it's truly something that I don't think is going away anytime soon. So in conclusion, social media has many positive and negative effects throughout our lives. You can now keep up with people across the world and have access to information about a tragic event within seconds. It has a powerful effect to bring people together, but unfortunately it has also torn people apart. So I just want to keep that in mind when you are on social media, when you're using social media. Just keep your eyes open and look for the things that we've talked about today, the effect in relationships, the effect on the news, and ultimately the effect on social movements. So thank you for listening.